Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL, or Reading Between the Lines. In this patch note, I'm going to be talking about what's, on the stove page, but I also want to bring to attention something that's happening next week. So there's going to be a limited banner coming next week. So just, if you were waiting on that news and you skipped Politis, or you wanted to skip Politis, it actually might be pretty good bang for buck for you to not pull Politis or not have pulled her. If you did get Politis, I still think she's really good. I got to test her in RTA. I think she's a really good pocket pick. Definitely still going to be a relevant hero. She's just not going to go anywhere. Although I would definitely say that she's not as OP as once thought, in terms of like how people were kind of fearful, like, oh, cleave meta is dead. I think you can work around it, especially in your drafting strategy in World Arena specifically. So I think Politis ends up being a really good one. This is just something I wanted to bring up in case people were wondering what I still thought about Politis. I still think she's a must pull though, but not in lieu of what we're gonna get next week, but more on that in a bit. First things first, let's talk about the episode 3 chapter 6. So we got we got more. I'm not that far yet. I'm actually grinding it this time though, because I definitely want to progress through it, and the side stories are definitely getting me interested in the characters, like Senya, for example, and then all the androids. So I'm going through it right now. I think I'm in chapter 3 now. So chapter 6, this is released chapter 6, but I'm in chapter 3. This neck, look, if you're free to play or you're a new player, this is going to work for you. Hopefully it just doesn't roll crit rate, but if it does roll crit rate, that's a feels bad, man. And I don't think that's going to be really used. Regardless, you'll probably end up using it. So C13 released. Now originally they had C11 released, and the quote-unquote the excuse is that they were pretty sure that it was too difficult or whatever. So they didn't feel like it. In my opinion, it could be just a stall for development time, and I'm actually okay with that. I think that that's fine. I don't think anybody really hunted C11, Caides, whatever his name is, C11, and I don't think that your hunting priority should change in C13's release, although it would be the only way I would farm it now if you have like a decent Caides gear that you wanted to reforge. Like, that's literally the only reason. I think for I got this asked like yesterday. It's like, hey Jagan, C13's out, like, do you think we should hunt it, or what's your thought on that? I definitely say no. Don't make this your primary. Azimanic in terms of immunity set, that first turn immunity with speed set is still like the way to go. I know there's a lot of Banshee farmers, in terms of like people who just farm Banshee, like their Wyvern is their Banshee, and they have a lot of counter gear. In fact, I was playing a guy versus a guy in RTA, and everything was on counter, and it was disgusting. Like counter F Clury with like 230 speed, counter Landy with high damage, and it was fast, counter everything, and it was very, very disgusting to deal with. So it's not that, like, I don't think the gear from C13 really is like so bad. I would say, like, absolutely don't get the gear. I mean, people put Unity set on, people put Rage set on their heroes, even PvP. Very rarely though, but we're talking about mass majority of players hunt Wyvern, and the problem is because Wyvern gear, in terms of what you get out of Wyvern gear, speed set 1 is still too dominant. It's too good in this game. In fact, it's so good that I've actually heard some players, not all players, so if you're hearing this and you disagree with it, I agree with your disagreement. Some players want to see the speed set nerfed, but that's very few. It's not like the popular opinion. I don't even think people really thought about it, but either they want to see speed set nerfed, or they want to see the other sets buffed. Because people are just saying, like, well, what's the point? Like, the 4-piece set, the most valuable one right now would be speed set, and then, like I said, the counter set would be kind of like, it's more memey than not, because you're relying on 20% RNG, but when it happens, counter set can be very disgusting though. But like, even when you see someone feature counter, or you get wrecked by someone who runs like abnormally weird counter heroes in RTA, your first thought is still not, I'm gonna go chase counter because that's just not what everybody's doing. And because of the RNG, people are just saying like opt for speed set, you get more value out of it. And that is the case. So in terms of just like wyvern farming, it's still going to be your go-to. I think as a manic, if you're, especially when you're higher up, you ideally want immunity, first turn immunity on everyone. Ideally, even DPS now. I mean, the toppest of the top players are now putting like, I've seen ML Lulukas at 250 speed with immunity set and good damage. And then like, you know, RB's really fast with, you know, immunity. Almost all the DPS that you can think of, really well built Tempest Sirens, whether lifesteal, speed set, it's all on immunity. So those two hunts I think will be the priority. In terms of PvP, now in C13, we already know what the sets are. I think penetration set might be a very nice one, but again, like, are you gonna be wasting your energy just to get a potentially useful penetration set? Whereas like if you got like, let's say, an offensive speed set, you know that can be used on AoE damage dealers. A speed set offensive stats can be used on single target damage dealers, whereas penetration set locks you to single target damage dealers, right? So like stuff like that. And then there's the injury set, and then we got the revenge set, which revenge set conceptually can sound cool, but then at the same time it's still based on RNG, and in RTA it becomes a bit more difficult to control because you don't know how the enemy's gonna attack you. So then you are actually at a disadvantage if you need like specific speed tuning. And then injury set has always been kind of like a cool idea too. People are just like, oh, injury set SSB, which I think could work, but SSBs now like require so much stats that I don't know if an injury set, it's kind of like lifesteal set SSB, like we could see that it still works, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about injury set. Like SSBs now relatively easily you can use like Last Rider Crow, Remnant Violet, Spectenny, CDOM, like a couple hard hitting damage dealers, and SSB gets like 1 S2 off and that's it. 1 to 2 S2s off, that's like it, unless you sustain with a healer and stuff like that. But you can nuke out SSBs quite quickly. So it's like, does the injury set then, like, does it really benefit here or there? I'm not quite sure. Like there, I would say like the 4-piece set, if you're gonna go lifesteal, I think lifesteal helps your survival, so then that she doesn't get nuked out, like I said. So I'm not quite sure about that, where I stand on it. Regardless, I think in summary, I think most people would feel this if you were confused about, you know, should I hunt C13? I think most players would have leaned that no, you shouldn't, but just take it from me, I don't think it's going to be very, very important. The only reason to hunt it would be, like I said, if you get a piece of gear that's C13 gear, but that you need reforge mats for, then you farm it. So for example, World Boss, if you get some crazy piece of gear and it rolled really nicely, and heck, it's not that, you know, if you have C13 gear you should just throw it away. You should honestly, you know, either extract it to craft if you want, I guess, to convert, or you get lucky and World Boss drop and you see it, think it's really good, it rolled like, let's say like a penetration set attack ring or something with perfect substats, you roll it and it turns out really good. Yeah, C13 would be definitely worth it, especially now we still don't have the C13 mats in the expedition, which I think will eventually happen because we still need that Lich, the earth one, to come back in order us to complete the what do you call it, the reputation, Dagger Psychar. So like they're gonna most likely develop one of the expedition bosses for the C13 drop mats. So but that'll probably be like maybe 6 months or maybe a year down the line. Regardless, energy cost is the same. Epic Pass. All right, so I wanted to touch upon this week, I wanted to bring forward is the limited banners coming. Oh man, I don't even know if you're a light spender. I don't even know if this Epic Pass is worth it. At this point, myself, personally, I have bought Epic Passes ever since they were available. At this point, like, I don't know if like 1800 Skystone is worth the stuff in the Epic Pass anymore, to me at least. like if I wanted the Molagora, like the charms to me is like just like an overtime thing. Molagora as well, but I feel like charms I don't have that much problem with, like artifact charm at the most, but I don't know if it's worth it. And also, if you have been buying the epic passes like me from the get-go, you should have enough skin tickets to be able to get this one when she's released into the skin shop. And I know that Epic 7 created that system on purpose, the skin shop, so that people can skip certain epic passes. I think this one I have to pass. I'm just running too low on Skystone myself. The limited banner coming, I think, takes a higher priority, to be honest, than the skin. If you love Luluka and this skin, I actually think the design is not bad. I saw the live stream comments, people are saying, oh, ew, or whatever. I think she's pretty cute, although I'd still say that the original Luluka is cuter. I think this one's okay. She's got them legs, which everyone knows Jagan likes. I like really nice thighs, and I don't like no eyebrows. that's pretty much it. That's my criteria. You gotta get you have to have legs, and make sure you have decent looking eyebrows, and preferably not a huge forehead either. Yeah, so I mean, if you take a look at this, I mean, if you're like kind of like a newer player, don't look at your Skystone and be like, oh, I'm free to play, I'm kind of new, I have a lot of Skystone, I don't know what to use it on, let's buy it. I say no. I would say no. Be very careful right now in gacha games like Epic 7 and other gacha games, of course. You always get a lot of resources at the beginning, and that's how they kind of like rope you in. The best way to spend, honestly, is just do not buy the epic pass, at least for this Valentine week. The free reward, in my opinion, is already like decent enough. I mean, you get a bit of, you know, like I said, Molagora in the premium rewards if you spend 900. You get the skin tickets if you spend the 1800. You get more skin tickets, that is. You get like gold transfer stuff. Not worth it to me. Not worth it to me. I really have to be more careful now, especially now I want like better gear. My Skystone has to go into refreshes, but that's not giving you guys advice in terms of how you want to spend your resources, but that's where I just think that I can help you guys. In case you were having questions, hey, should I buy the epic pass? It's not a good deal. It's actually not. Yeah, Luluka drop rate with Spirit's Breath. I don't know if that's really necessary anymore. Spirit's Breath kind of useful in Expo, I think. Outside of that, like Oxalots that needs to be like constantly turn cycle is probably the best. I know this artifact was designed for Luluka since she has the S2 as a non-attack skill. I think some people do use it, but I think there are better mage artifacts for her if you're gonna tackle some PvE content. Yeah. And artist season is coming to an end, so everyone knows this. So that means the RTA artist season is ending soon as well, probably in about 3 weeks from now. So I think next week, next patch note, we'll get the like the artist season, like World Arena closing date, and the very fact that they did show the FCC skin on the live stream, I think it is coming close. I do remember that the season started about 2 to 3 weeks after arena season, so that's usually they usually have the same season length. It's just that they're offset. Let's see here. Anything else I want to talk about this? Some UI changes. Yeah, some nice UI changes that give you some more visibility on info. The side story is coming next week, so that is coming with the banner. I want to talk about Hoochie Shop very quick here. So in terms of like the stuff you could get from the season pass, like the most valuable things would probably be Molagora. If you're gonna spend the Skystone to get the season pass, mainly for like the Molagora, just ignore the charms. They're really not worth your Skystone. I would rather buy stuff from the Hoochie Shop. Now that being said, I think the 4 to 5 star hero ticket, unless you want to take a gamble, even if it's at a 20% discount, absolutely dog crap. Molagora on the other hand, though, it is dependent like how patient you are to wait for that 3 Molagora every week, plus, you know, events. You get like maybe 4, maybe 5 a week. Depends how patient you are. And then the mystic medals, again, depends on how patient you are. After like, so for 100 Skystone to get 1 mystic medal, that's actually better. Before discount, when it was 200, if you actually had the gold and Skystone and you refresh the secret shop in 200 Skystone, you'll most likely already get 1. In 100, You might get one, you might not. So at a 50% discount, I think the Mystic Metals is probably the most worth it thing, especially if you're free to play, especially if you already refresh the shop. Probability wise, this is the better choice. Molagora, as important as it is, 250, yeah, probably buy it. I'm not quite sure about that one myself yet. I'm focusing on other stuff, and then that's pretty much it. Don't buy anything else. I wouldn't recommend it. And then the very last thing I want to touch upon in this session of reading between the lines is here. Let me swap my screen. All right, so this is what I wanted to bring up. This is going to come up next week in next week's patch notes, but I think I want to share my thoughts on this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to share two trains of thought, all right? The objective and the subjective. Subjective encompasses a lot of my personal experiences, so do not listen to the subjective portion except for like a story. The objective portion is what you should listen to in terms of this. So I was there for the live stream. I was looking at the stream chat when they announced this. A lot of poggers, poggus, a lot of people excited for it. There's the equal about maybe 50%, okay, maybe let's say 40% of the people in the stream chat that spoke up didn't like this. Now I would say both are right, okay? And how is that possible? It's subjective to the player themselves. Objectively speaking, what's going on is that they are returning every single limited hero back. I think Smilegate is in fear of, well, they know that limited heroes can make them money, but the problem is that they are stacking up with limited heroes that are overlapping in when they were supposed to be released, but they won't let those limited heroes go because the amount of work they put into it. So the limited heroes are not really limited, they're really limited to the year. So they're not quote unquote like, you know, forever like exclusively limited. So it's actually, you know, by kind of like the third time like DN came back, third time Luna, or fourth time if you played in Korea server, I think it definitely loses the limited value. It's just more of like a hassle than anything. Maybe is a subject in of itself to talk about in terms of maybe Smilegate should think about limited heroes exclusively to collabs. I don't know. I mean, obviously they were gonna make less money that way, so I understand the limited, you know, pump out limited once every couple months. It makes sense from like a marketing perspective. So objectively speaking, is this banner good? Is this banner bad? It is both. It's really tough. Let's say if you're free to play, let me put you in the shoes of someone who is free to play, always struggling to get the bookmarks because maybe it's the gacha itch, right? Maybe you pull on a Covenant, maybe you pulled for Politis, which I still think Politis is a really good hero to pull, but I did advise you guys last week, skip Politis because the limited is coming, and the limited will be here next week. Okay, next week. So whether you did pull Politis or whether you skip Politis, you might be struggling in bookmarks. So again, we're in the shoes of the free to play. You get to this banner next week, and you know that by the end of this banner, you're not going to get enough for a pity. Now you're summoning, boom! Oh, it's a 5-star! It's a shiny! It's unskippable! And then you get a DN. But let's say you're going for Cerise. So like this, it's not. I don't think Smilegate did anything wrong, and I don't think what they're doing is trying to like. I don't think what they're doing is trying to like stop players from getting Cerise. So Cerise is the limited hero that people were theorizing that it's about time, and Cerise, you know, Guiding Light, and Cerise got a buff, Guiding Light got a buff. It's the perfect time to release her. It's the same time as last year. They were right, but only 1/3 right? Only 33% right, because we got the other two 33%ers in here with us. So that's where I think the problem will lie, in that the rate, as lucky as, you know, some people can get already, with the limited bookmarks that they have already, when they summon for it and they, you know, get a 5-star hero, it could have been Cerise. If it was just the Cerise banner, it could have been Cerise. But they could potentially now get a DN, which self-imprinting is still good, but let's say you had already pulled a ton of DN, because DN has already returned, what, this is the third time now? And maybe you already have triple S, then you'd be really salty. In my opinion, this is very concerning for this year. It's not that bad yet, but I think for next year, they should consider this. Smilegate, if you're listening and you're watching this video, this scenario that I've explained about the free-to-play, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it's, I would suggest, humbly, I would suggest that next year, if you're gonna do this, let's say you toss in another limited hero, it's like a 4 limited hero banner, and this is potentially what they're going to do now with limited banners, because the heroes are being released, like I said, during like an event, and that event is overlapping every year, but they still have to pump out new content. So you eventually you will get these kind of triple banners, maybe quadruple banners in the future. Smilegate, consider allowing the player to recycle the hero in exchange for another one. I think that would be very, very nice. It might be too much to ask for, alright? So people watching this video, please understand where I come from. I work in the gaming industry myself, and I don't think that we should be spoiled. That's not what I'm asking. But in terms of like, honestly, everyone only expected the Cerise banner, so everyone was prepared for it, but then now you throw in more RNG against the players who wanted to pull for Cerise or Guiding Light. Now, we're still talking objective story here. Objectively, this is also a decent banner because of the pity system that they allow us to have. But like I said, if players can't hit the pity, they can't even benefit from the system, which is really a really good system. It's the system that we've all been asking for, especially when it comes to a limited hero. A lot of people were saying that, hey, Smilegate, you know, sometimes the hero I just don't want. If I hit the pity, I want to be able to select artifact or hero. This time they allowed us to do it. So in terms of RNG, once you hit the pity mark, so the amount of Star Mirage coins you get, I believe it is 1 summon per Star Mirage coin. Yeah, it's 1 summon per Star Mirage coin, right? Yeah. So 120 summons will get you a hero, just like you would hit a pity, but you get to select it. So that aspect is very good. And they not only give us the hero to select, they also allow us to use that coin for the artifact. So that's what we've been wanting. And not only that, they're giving to us at a cheaper price. Now, Smilegate did already think about, hey, what if they don't just hit the pity? What if it's like kind of like an odd number, you get some coins left? Don't worry about it. You can use the coins now to buy some stuff. Now, if you watch the video, watch the official Epic 7 stream, the VOD of that stream is already in the is on YouTube. So go to the official, you know, youtube.com/epic7. You'll be able to see the video, and they scroll through like a demonstration of what's in the shop. I have screenshots here, so I can't scroll for you, but you can see that the epic equipment charm is down there for 20 coins. So yeah, the coin shop is going to be a limited time. So as soon as I think they said a week after the banner disappears, it will stay, but after that it will be completely gone. The coins will be destroyed. You can't save it for a next banner, so you want to use up all the coins you have. Okay, so don't worry, I'll touch upon this again maybe next week when this is actually officially in the stove patch notes. This isn't. I just wanted to bring up this kind of, it could cause some controversy. Hopefully I'm not starting controversy that there's no controversy in. I just feel that it could potentially be. I just wanted to say that, yeah, like, it's cool to see Landy back. I mean, out of these 3, there's only really one hero you want to pull for in terms of imprint, and that's Landy. Alright, well, I'm talking about imprints. I'm talking if you already have the base copies of all 3 heroes, Landy's imprint is the best bang for buck. Cerise's self-effectiveness, it's good, but you know, with the amount of stats that Cerise needs to get, you're not gonna get the amount of effectiveness you need to debuff someone who can already resist debuffs. If you are using her against people who are not able to resist debuffs, then at 120 effectiveness, which doesn't actually require self-imprint, just better gear, is already good enough. I mean, getting some Cerise copies is not bad, If you're new and you needed like some extra fodder, none of the limited heroes are bad, so you don't need to, you know, farm more doggos. The self-imprint on DN is a diminishing return since her HP is relatively low compared to, let's say, a Cancer Soul Weaver. But it's 18% more HP if you triple Lesser, so I mean that's not bad. And it's also AoE attack, attack release imprint. So for the party, if you have a triple S, you want to use it that way. So supportive wise, I think that's pretty good. DN sort of falling off the meta in terms of RTA. I still see her somewhat drafted. Not in most fights though. She doesn't do much because there's just too much true damage in the game now. Sage Baal, ML Haste, ML Crow. There's so much true damage, so her anti-crit buff doesn't really help much. Landy is the best imprint here. When this banner comes out, you want to hope you pull Landy and a ton of Landys. That self-attack imprint is super solid, whether you build as a bruiser for RTA, whether you build for just pure DPS. A self-attack imprint on her kit now after the dev buff is absolutely insane, so that's going to be your best value there. Guiding Light is going to be the artifact everybody's going to be chasing. No need to max limit break unless you want to. If you're well enough, in my opinion, keep a couple copies. We still don't know the extent of how many Rangers may need Guiding Light in the future, so ML Secret right now for openers and RTA on Guiding Light is really good. Landy with Guiding Light is also pretty good, especially if you're running into people who don't draft sort of like a stripper or an unbuffable hero, so like Bryceria, Basar, F10, that kind of hero. Guiding Light has damage mitigation because it gives you a stealth buff, so very good. The Unfading Memory is absolute garbage still. I think people they started using it on some Momos, Tamarines for expedition, stuff like that. Wall of Order, too much RNG. Unless it gets buffed in the future, it might be good to pick up one of each in case they do get buffed. The very fact that Guiding Light got a buff, it's a limited artifact, it paves the way for the future and how we think about artifacts. So even though Wall of Order and Unfading Memories right now to me are like lower priority, if you don't have one, oh man, I don't know how I should advise you on this. I don't know if you should spend the coins on it. Definitely go with what is proven to be good right now, and that would be Guiding Light. Okay, Wall of Order may come in second. I don't know about Unfading Memories, I'm not quite sure about that, but regardless, if they get a buff in the future, you're gonna hate me for me saying don't take those. Hopefully when you're pulling for this banner, you just get lucky. You get, you know, everything and you get a lot, right? Best case scenario. So that's my objective view on this banner. So the pros and cons, I laid them all out. Subjectively, I hate this banner. Subjectively, I hate this. For people who know me, like, you know, you talk to me on Twitch, or even you watch my YouTube videos and you came with me from a previous gacha game I played, I mained that one. The game is called FFBE. I'm not gonna say the full name here, but I mean FFBE, you'll search. I shouldn't even mention the name. But in that game, what made me leave is honestly the predatory gacha system. Epic 7 has done a very good job of preventing me feeling that I'm being ripped off. So in that previous gacha game, the only way to accelerate your progress is to pull the next banner. And you had to pull multiple copies to do it. Smilegate does something really good, and this is why I've been like backing up this game so much, and I love it. It's because the balance adjustments, it makes people like heroes that I've pulled or maybe spent some hard-earned resources on eventually usable again, and that's always good. And even limited heroes now can get buffs, so like, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong pulling for them. The problem is that this type of triple banner, it literally was the thing that led me to me quitting the previous gacha game. This would be more of like I said, this is the subjective part, right? So do not listen to this if you never played the game like I did in the old gacha game. If you know, just wanted the advice, I already gave you that in the objective portion. Subjectively, yeah, so there was a banner. It was called the Halloween banner. It returned some of these heroes that were really good. and it's split like this, exactly 3 ways. There was no artifact to pull for though, in that game, and I spent a lot on it, and it was just RNG. It was just not good. There was like two really good heroes, one that wasn't really good. But then, you know, the desire meter, it always works that way. You know you want something and you just don't get it. You get the other ones. So every single time that I got a shiny, to get like the rarest character or hero, you don't get the one you want. That's why I don't really like this one. I'm saying this not because that I feel that I'm gonna get scammed by this system, because I already have all 3 of those limited heroes. I already have the artifacts. I'm saying it from like just a experience. Like, it was my immediate reaction, like from the gut. When I saw this, I was like, oh gosh, I hate this. Like, I hate this. It's predatory. It's if you're a whale, and you have no problem with like spending, this is like, ooh, super jackpot, right? This is actually really good. The limited artifacts will be in the powder shop as per what the community managers are saying. So yeah, we'll take that as fact. The limited will be in the powder shop once, so you can still pick it up there. You don't have to like, you know, spend all your bookmarks just to get the guiding light. But yeah, that's like kind of my subjective story. At the end, what happened was that even after I spent, I can't even tell you what I spent on that old gacha game, that banner. It's just like a really big regret. Basically, they market it as like it's gonna be limited and it's for Halloween, and 2 months later, that game put out a system where you can just pick them up, like, not for free, but you could pick them up with like a coin system that was external to that banner. That pissed me off, and I quit the game. Epic 7 is nowhere near that for me in terms of like, they're not that scammy, but this is definitely, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna get a lot of hate, I think, on the video for people thinking that I'm complaining about it. I'm not. Objectively speaking, I already give you my thoughts. I think it's good. It's just the advertisement thing, the ad thing. I've been asked that on my stream too. What do you think about it? I'm like, I already made a video on it, man. I personally don't think that it helps the quality of the game, but we want free energy. So I mean, you know, and Smilegate wants something back for it. You know, I can't blame them. And the same thing here. Like, they're having, I think mainly the issue is like I said, the limited overlap. The limited overlap, as they pump out more limited heroes, they don't know when to slot them in. Eventually, you're gonna have so much limited heroes that's so oversaturated. Even if they put out one limited hero a month, like a return, it still wouldn't be enough. You can imagine that, right? Like in the future. So the triple banner system, or even potentially quad banner system, multi banner system, it's going to be the norm. So I'm not any way saying that Smilegate should stop this. They're not going to. It's not possible. It's just the pool is just getting too wide. They have to give us 2 heroes for return banners now. It used to be 1. It used to be none. And then it turned to 1. And then they give us double. And then now every single one of them have an artifact. And so it's just the normal course of a gacha life. It's going to happen. So for people who, you know, agree with me on, I basically took both sides, so I think I'm gonna get some people to agree. But you know, if you haven't thought about those things, I think it's good to think about. Epic 7 is still a really fun game, and I want it to remain healthy for as long as possible. And I said this a long time ago, that the only way Smilegate or Epic 7 can last long at a very successful degree is that if they pace. They need to pace, but they also need to give content at the right pacing. It's a very, very tough balancing act. I think they're doing really well. This one is definitely one of those, it's like, whoa, it's moving a bit too fast. But it's also kind of like, this becomes like a flag for me. It's just like, okay, actually, you know what? We're facing the inevitable. This is going to be the norm going down in the future. I wouldn't be surprised that Smilegate will give us not only return banners of the regular RGB heroes in their kind of like one-off banner. I'm actually thinking that because when the pool gets so saturated, I think Smilegate will eventually have like triple banners like this. Like let's say like a Valencia, Lilius, who else? Pavel, like something like that. They're going to have those banners in the future, and that was the case for the gacha game that I did play. Not saying that they will copy it, but I think that's what's logically going to proceed, because that's what will make sense. Anyways, that was a really long one just for this gacha system. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, I love reading what you guys write in terms of like, you know, your thoughts and maybe ideas and stuff like that. So I'll definitely do that and keep the communication lines open. I'm going to end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching this session of RBTL, and I will see you guys on the next one.